HOA Karen calls the police over my small fountain, but she paid the price for it. I spent years saving every penny to make my dream come true. A small fountain in my yard. It was my little celebration, my reward for hard work. But I couldn't have predicted that this time, it wouldn't just be water flowing in the fountain. One day, when I finally finished installing it, Karen decided that my little joy was now her problem. Karen from the HOA always acted like she owned the entire neighborhood. She set the rules for everything: grass height, house colors, even yard decorations. Before we dive into this crazy HOA story, take a moment to subscribe and share, and leave a comment telling me where you're watching from. It's always fun to see how far these stories reach. Now, let's get started. One weekend, I decided to install a small decorative fountain in my yard. Nothing over the top, just a stone fountain with a gentle flow of water to add a cozy touch. When I finished, I stood back and admired the result. Suddenly, I heard a familiar voice. "What is this?" I turned around and saw Karen charging across the street, arms crossed over her chest, her face glowing with righteous anger. "This is a violation! The HOA forbids such structures!" I sighed, as expected. "Are you sure about that?" I asked calmly. She scoffed disdainfully. "Absolutely! Either take it down or I'll file a complaint." Classic Karen, ready to use her power to ruin other people's lives. But instead of arguing, I decided to check the rules. If she wanted to play by the rules, then I would play by them too. That evening, I studied the official HOA statutes, and I found something interesting. Karen had a huge artificial pond in her backyard, much bigger than my little fountain. And according to the same HOA rules she was trying to use against me, her pond was also a violation. It had been there for years, and no one had dared to say a word. I met with lawyer Peter Lawson at his office. "So what's going on, Josh?" he asked. "Here's the deal. I put in a small fountain in my yard, and Karen from the HOA is making a big deal out of it. She's threatening to file a complaint." Peter looked at me seriously. "We need to look at the HOA rules. If she's breaking them, that could be a problem for her." Well, I checked them, and it turns out her pond also violates the rules, but no one's been paying attention. Peter nodded, taking notes. "Then this could work to our advantage. If her pond violates the rules, we can file a counterclaim." "I'll file a complaint against her and we'll take it to court," I said. Peter smiled. "This looks promising. I'll be with you every step of the way." Fast forward to today. The next morning, I didn't wait. I filed an official complaint against her. That same day, I was watering my flowers when I saw Karen in her yard. She was standing there, arms crossed, with a smug smile on her face. "You're done, Josh." Before I could ask what she meant, I heard sirens. A police car pulled up and 2 officers got out. "Not this again," I muttered. Karen immediately rushed to them. "Officer, he's violating HOA rules. This fountain is illegal. You need to make him remove it immediately." One of the officers, tiredly rubbing his temples, replied, "Ma'am, HOA rules are not a criminal matter. We don't regulate homeowners associations." Karen's face twisted with anger. "But he's breaking the rules. You have to make him take it down." The second officer looked at me. "Sir, do you know what she's talking about?" I nodded, holding back a smile. "I installed a decorative fountain. Karen thinks it's a violation, but the interesting part is, she has a huge artificial pond in her yard, which violates the same rules." The first officer raised an eyebrow. "Is that true, ma'am?" Karen opened her mouth, then closed it. "It's different. My pond has been here for years." The officer sighed. "Ma'am, if this gentleman hasn't committed a crime, there's nothing we can do. This is a civil dispute between you, him, and your HOA." Karen turned red. "So you're just going to let him break the rules?" The officer looked at her suspiciously. "And do you follow them? Because if not, you're in the same position." Karen fumed, arms crossed. "Unbelievable." "Have a good day, ma'am," the officer said before turning back to me. "Sorry for the trouble, sir." Karen shot me a look that could melt metal. "This isn't over," she hissed as she stormed off to her house. But she didn't know that I had already made my move. A few days later, Karen barged into my house, fuming with rage. You filed a complaint against me? Well, Karen, if my little fountain is a problem, your giant pond is probably an even bigger one, right? I replied, barely holding back a smile. It's different. Is it? She tried to say something else, but then she got an official notice. She had to go to court. Karen, the HOA dictator, was sure she would win easily. She probably imagined the judge ordering me to take down the fountain while leaving her pond untouched, but reality was brutal. On the day of the hearing, Karen confidently walked into the courtroom in her always too formal suit, as if she was at a meeting where she was the CEO. I, on the other hand, was prepared, with all the HOA documents, photos of my fountain, and evidence of her pond. The judge listened to Karen first. Your Honor, the defendant has installed a structure that violates the HOA rules. It disrupts the neighborhood style and should be removed immediately. The judge turned to me. Your response? I stood up and confidently said, Yes, Your Honor. I've reviewed the HOA rules, and while Karen claims my fountain is a violation, her pond also does not comply. If HOA is applying the rules fairly, both structures should be treated the same. I handed over the documents, pointing to the exact rule. The judge flipped through the pages and nodded. Karen's smile started to fade. But this is different, she shouted. How so? The judge asked. Well, my pond has been here for years. It's part of the community. The judge shook his head. That doesn't change the fact that it's a violation. If Mr. Josh's fountain must be removed, the same applies to your pond. Karen turned pale. But, this is my final decision. You will also cover all legal fees. Karen stormed out of the courtroom, fuming with anger, but she couldn't do anything. The HOA rules she had used against me were now turned against her. I walked out of the courtroom feeling victorious, but there was Karen waiting for me, absolutely livid. This isn't over, Jake. Do you hear me? Oh, I hear you, but now it's your problem, Karen, not mine. You think you won, huh? Well, you're wrong. You'll see just how many problems I'll make for you. You can try, but the court already decided. Your games with the rules don't work anymore. You have no idea what I'm capable of, Jake. This is just the beginning. Listen, I already know what you're capable of. Your pond is gone, and your problem's just begun. You'll pay for this. I'll make you pay for everything. I'm not scared of your threats, Karen. You won't do anything. The court ruled your actions were illegal, so go home and realize that this time, you lost. Within a week, her beloved pond was drained and dismantled, and my little fountain stayed right where it was. Every time Karen walked past my house, her face would turn red with rage, but she couldn't say a word. And every time I hear the gentle sound of water trickling, I smile, because I know Karen hears it too, and it drives her crazy. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell to never miss a new HOA nightmare.